Did you know that your favorite games might be messing with you? Just when you feel like you finally nailed that impossible level, the game might have secretly given you a little boost because you were having a tough time. Crazy, right? What I'm talking about is the controversial topic of dynamic difficulty adjustment, or DDA. This sneaky feature tweaks the game's challenges, scenarios, and rules in real time based on your performance, all without you even noticing. While it might sound handy, it sparks debates about fairness, honesty, and transparency. The idea is to keep you in the zone, not too bored from it being too easy, and not crushing your keyboard against the table from it being too hard. So what's the purpose? To make sure you're having fun and staying hooked by providing just the right amount of challenge for your skill level. Take Left 4 Dead, for instance. The magic happens through the AI director. Think of it as the game's invisible puppet master, pulling the strings behind the scenes to keep you on your toes. Here's how it works. The AI director is constantly watching your performance. It monitors things like your health, ammo levels, and how well your team is sticking together. It even gauges how stressed out you are from recent encounters. Based on what it sees, the AI director adjusts the game in real time. If you're cruising through the level, expect to see more common zombies to keep the pressure on. On the other hand, if you're struggling, the director might ease up a bit, reducing the number of zombies. It also tweaks the appearances of special infected, the nastier enemies with unique abilities to keep things balanced. These adjustments keep the game challenging but fair, making sure you're never too overwhelmed or too relaxed. It's not just about throwing more enemies at you. The AI director also knows when to give you a break. After a big attack, it might slow down the frequency of encounters to let you catch your breath. It also strategically places health packs, ammo, and other supplies where you need them most. Not too much to make things easy, but just enough to keep you going. Now, let's talk about Crash Bandicoot. Dynamic difficulty adjustment also plays a role here. If you're having a tough time with a level, the game might give you extra checkpoints, Haku masks for protection, or even fewer enemies to deal with. For example, in the infamous boulder chase levels, if you die repeatedly, the boulder will actually slow down to give you a better chance. More precisely, after 7 deaths, you might get an Haku mask. After 12 deaths, some crates turn into checkpoints or Haku crates. And at 14 deaths, you receive a gold Haku mask. This keeps the gameplay balanced, ensuring it's never too easy or too frustrating. Moving on to Mario Kart, DDA keeps the race exciting and unpredictable. If you're falling behind, you'll get more powerful items like bullet bills, lightning bolts, or golden mushrooms to help you catch up. These items can turn the tide of a race in an instant, giving players a chance to rejoin the fray. Conversely, if you're in the lead, expect more obstacles like blue shells, banana peels, and lightning strikes. These obstacles are designed to create tension and keep the competition fierce. One key feature in Mario Kart is the rubber banding mechanic. Rubber banding means that the game adjusts the speed of the racers to keep them close together. If you're far behind, the game will speed you up a bit, and if you're far ahead, it will slow you down. This ensures that races remain close and competitive, so the excitement lasts until the very end. The AI opponents also become more aggressive, or easier based on your position, ensuring a dynamic and engaging race. Similarly, Resident Evil 4 offers a deeper dive into DDA with its nuanced adjustments. If you're struggling, enemies become weaker and drop more health and ammo, giving you the resources you need to survive. This adaptive approach helps prevent players from becoming too discouraged. On the flip side, if you're doing well, enemies get tougher and more aggressive, and resources become scarcer, ramping up the difficulty to match your skills. For instance, the game might spawn more challenging enemies like chainsaw-wielding ganados, or increase the frequency of enemy attacks to keep you on your toes. The environment itself can also change subtly, with more traps or hazards appearing in areas where you're performing exceptionally well. In addition, quick time events might become more frequent and demanding based on your performance, pushing your reflexes to the limit. This dynamic system keeps you engaged and immersed, always pushing you to adapt and strategize, ensuring that each playthrough offers a unique experience. These 4 games aren't the only ones using DDA. Other notable titles include God of War, Call of Duty, the FIFA series, BioShock Infinite, The Last of Us, Devil May Cry 4, and many more. Each of these games uses DDA to modify the difficulty as you play, often without your knowledge. Now, here's my take on DDA. Frankly, I believe dynamic difficulty adjustment undermines the core essence of gaming. Games are meant to challenge us, to test our skills, and to reward our perseverance. When the game secretly adjusts itself to make things easier or harder, it strips away the true sense of achievement. It feels like a disingenuous way to manipulate player experience, rather than allowing players to grow and improve through their own efforts. Proponents of DDA argue that it keeps games accessible to a wider audience and prevents frustration. But this comes at the cost of genuine skill development and a fair playing field. How can you truly measure your improvement if the game is constantly shifting the goalposts? It can also create a sense of unfairness, especially in competitive settings, where some players might feel they're being handicapped or unfairly boosted. While accessibility is important, it shouldn't compromise the integrity of the gaming experience. Casual players who don't want too much of a challenge might appreciate DDA, especially when the default difficulty seems too hard. However, for more balanced or hardcore gamers, this mechanic can lead to frustration and rage. Players should have the option to choose their difficulty level based on their skill rather than the game deciding for them. Or at the very least, games should be transparent about adjusting the difficulty. Mario Kart might be an exception to this rule. The DDA mechanics in Mario Kart are probably the most obvious and well-known. If you've played Mario Kart enough, you know that the items you pick up when you're in last place are much more powerful and helpful than those you get when you're ahead. This is part of what makes Mario Kart a highly competitive game. Players can even strategize around item management, using the system to their advantage, making the DDA an integral part of the gameplay rather than a hidden adjustment. More often than not, DDA feels like a band-aid solution to cover up poor game design. Instead of relying on these behind-the-scenes adjustments, developers should focus on creating well-balanced games that provide a fair challenge to all players. At the end of the day, games should trust their players to rise to the challenge, not subtly manipulate the difficulty. What do you think? Do you prefer games that adapt to your skill level, or do you like fixed challenges? Let me know in the comments.